What's up, guys? Welcome back to the home slice. Got some 12C27 coming at you today. I got to give a shout out to my friend Alex. I've given him a shout out a couple times for this knife, but this knife is such a gem. This is a Petrified Fish. It's in 12C27. It's a little $27 knife. Insanely smooth action. The liner lock is actually fairly thick. The wood is nice and attractive. Love the sleekness of the design. And the detent is the best detent I have ever felt in my life. It is like snappier than a spring assist. It's crazy. Anyway, I love this knife and have really enjoyed putting dual grit edges on 12C27. This thing kept hanging out every fine stone I would take it to. It's hanging out at around 200 grams best, and I was just so confused by that. I'd go finer and finer on the stones, gentle. It wouldn't go lower than 200. I'd go back and redo it on a different stone. I tried the Sharpen glass. I tried the Suhiro Cerax. I tried the Spyderco Ultra Fine. I tried stropping on chromium oxide. I tried stropping on basswood with diamond. I tried mother's mag on denim, and thing after thing after thing, I have had such a hard time deburring this little knife. Now it's funny because I've had really good performance from dual grit edges on this knife, but I really struggled with deburring just a basic fine edge. After multiple attempts, I realized, okay, well, I've got H1 on a fine edge under 100 grams best, totally deburred. I've gotten Vanex under 100 best, totally deburred. I've got LC200N under 100 best, totally deburred. 12C27 is what they say is like the easiest steel to sharpen. So why can't I get that burr to pop off? This has been driving me nuts all week, and I honestly don't know why. People talk to me about like retained austenite and how some of the things in the heat treatment can cause a steel to be more difficult to deburr, and it doesn't want to let go of that flaky burr. I've tried flat strop, hanging strop, I've tried high angle strop, I've tried like sharpening it at like 15 degrees and then micro beveling at 17 on ceramic with edge leading strokes, and 137 is all I got right now for some reason. Anyway, we're going to test it because I'm a moderately skilled hand sharpener, and this is the best I can do with this knife. So I think it is an interesting case study on what does 12C27 at this level of best keenness and deburring, how does it perform? Because a lot of you guys will have some similar 12C27 in your knife collections, I'm sure. And please, 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 this is my humble plea. Like, if you have experienced this before and you figured out like that it was retained austenite and how to fix that, please tell me in the comments. Like, I genuinely, this is like a speed bump I've hit. I don't know how to solve. I would really, really love if any of you guys in the sharpening community that have had good luck with low carbon, softer steels, or even maybe if the steel had a bit of a misfire on the heat treatment, if you have tips and techniques to where you can still get it to deburr, I would really love to hear it. It's sort of defeated me. Anyway, I think it's still a valid data point, even though I'll show you the microscope and you will see that there is a little bit of shine, particularly on one side. There's a tiny, tiny little microfoil burr. I'm going to test it anyway because this is the best I can get it presently with my skill and the different things that I tried. And we'll see how much it affects the performance and compare it to the dual grit edge. I think it will be an interesting comparison point because with the H1, with the LC200N, I've been able to fully deburr them, but Spyderco's hardening protocols are quite dialed in. And then the fine edge gets so fine that it cuts right up there with the dual grit edge. It's just that the dual grit edge requires less effort to get through stuff. That's what we experienced with both H1 and LC200N steel. So it will be interesting to see if whatever's causing this to be more gummy or ductile or whatever it is, affects cutting performance, and if dual grit edge is better at improving something which has a slightly softer heat treat. If that is the problem and it's not my technique, again, please let me know. I just think that it's a valid data point and it's what I can do right now. Now, if by the end of this steel testing, I figure out exactly what to do in cases like this and how to get the best out of moderately soft 12C27, then I'll come back and retest this and redo the numbers so that they reflect the goodness of 12C27. All right, let's get to the test. I would just note that usually I give you a range of different best numbers that the edge was at, but I stropped and tested 2 different points at the edge, and they both tested at 137, going very, very slow. And so I think it's, you know, that's probably a good near average. Let's see how this goes. Just tested the Spidey Chef in real time on the dual grit edge, and I will tell you, it is so stark. The difference in the amount of force you have to use to hold onto the rope, to push through the rope between a fine edge and a dual grit edge is quite crazy. It's very, very, like, my hands are already aching a bit from this, where I went 14 cuts with the Spidey Chef and it was still comfortable. Yeah, 396. So this has still got a little bit of burr on it. It'll be interesting to see if at the 2 and the 3, that tiny little bit of burr breaks off and we see the number drop a bit, or if it goes straight over 400. I need help, guys. How do you deburr when you run into this kind of a problem? You got a steel that's sort of soft and it just wants to hold on to that bit of foil burr. I feel defeated by this knife. Usually I can figure it out. Usually I can use the tools in my arsenal to eliminate that, but just been struggling with this little knife. I love this little knife is the thing. Like, when I put a dual grit edge on it, I'd use it for 3 weeks and I could still shave with it. I actually did shave with it when I went up to the consulate to get one of my kids' passports and forgot my razor. It's an awesome knife, but I don't know. Hey, let me know if you know. I think I'm going to probably end up calling this test even if it's still under 400, because it's not worth it. Like, this isn't a recommendable edge. Like, it was shaving beforehand, but it was so clearly shaving. You could see there was shine on only one side. It was so clearly shaving on a tiny foil burr. And this is just not pleasant. That foil burr has, like, turned over the edge, and it is now rounded. It's presenting a rounded surface which does not cut easily. So there are fine edges which will plow through this which will plow through this rope, even though they're fine. And this is not a good fine edge. So I don't know. The learning journey, guys, for me is very real, and the humility is very real. Please, if you know what's going on, give me some help. Otherwise, I think I will switch over to, like, do a dual grit edge on this and see if it helps with those dynamics of deburring and aggression, and then maybe complete more of the testing and just see in the end. Yeah, 398, but I just can't do it. It's right on that 400 line, and it's brutal to use. Like, It's just not worth it for my wrists. All right. Anyway, drop me a comment if you think you know what's up. I'd love to hear. Otherwise, we'll throw a dual grit edge on this and see if, at the very least, if you have a steel that is sort of like having some problematic deburring tendencies, if maybe doing a dual grit edge is a decent way to sort of shortcut that deburring process and end up with a really good working edge. We'll find out. Anyway, I think my friend Alex, who sent this knife to me, said that he finishes up to like 1000 grit, and then he hit his, you know, model of this knife, and then he strops with like 3 or 4 or 5, I can't remember, but a bit larger abrasive stropping compound because it retains the aggression. So maybe he's stumbled across a sort of more effective deburring method for this particular steel. As for me, I don't know why all of my normal procedures are not working, but I think that I love this knife enough that figuring out a good fine edge for it is a project that I'm likely to come back after the other testing and figure out. Peace out from the home slice. I hope you have a great day. Bye.